I'm like nervous, and I don't know why I'm so nervous to sit down and film this video. I've never been so nervous to film a video before or ever. But hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been contemplating filming and just nervous to film, and there isn't really like a ready time for me to want to do this video, but at the same time I do want to film this video. It's kind of just conflicting. I just thought I would fill you guys in on what's been going on in my life recently. First and foremost, I'm at my home in Minnesota. I'm not in college right now, so I don't have my camera battery for my normal filming camera, but I'm just using my vlogging camera, so hopefully this is okay, but I figured that it would be fine. Anyway, I just thought I would do a video filling you guys in on what's been going on the past couple of weeks. I know a lot of you guys are concerned and sending me lots of love and support, and I cannot thank you guys enough for doing that. And I just thought, you know, it'd be the right thing for me to do. It would be to film a video to address what's been going on. I don't really know how to do this, but I just want to warn you guys, I may be getting very emotional in this video, but everything is still very new for me, and talking about it just kind of gets me really emotional. Already not even talking about it. Okay, this will probably be the most real, raw video that I will ever put on my channel, but I think that's kind of what, you know, I started this YouTube for, is to be real and genuine with you guys about everything. And it's kind of like a bring you guys into my life a little bit. And I know it's different in the fact that I get to choose what I'm putting out to you guys, and a lot of it's all happy and, you know, feel good content, which is what I want. I want people to leave my videos feeling inspired or feeling happier than they were, and just kind of an escape from their problems maybe, because that's what I turned to YouTube for, and that's what I've been doing a lot of these past couple of weeks. I've been watching so much YouTube just to kind of make myself smile a little bit and find people that can relate to this. As hard as this is to film it, I feel like maybe there's someone out there who's one of my followers, or someone who stumbles upon this video maybe, that is going through the same exact thing. Maybe, I hope not, but maybe someone is going through the same thing. Maybe they've already gone through it. And you know, we can kind of be a support system for each other and talk to each other and discuss everything. But I've been private about a lot of my personal life since being on YouTube. It's never been something that I want to throw into someone's face and put everything out there, because, you know, if I put every little negative thing in my life out there, I'm gonna have to address it, and I'm going to get questions about it. And I've seen that so many times on YouTube where people, you know, will date someone and it goes south, and then everyone's kind of like attacking them about what's been going on, and it's really something that I never wanted to throw onto anyone. And that could be with anything, it's not just relationships, but you know what I mean, like just negative aspects people love to, you know, people want to know about. So I've kept a lot of my personal life private just for those reasons. It helps to cope by pretending everything is okay on YouTube, and I didn't think I was being fake by doing so. I've always prided myself on being, you know, real and genuine with you guys. Filming is often a form of just, it's so therapeutic for me to film and kind of get away from my stress a little bit of the real world by filming. And I love seeing your guys' comments. That always make me feel so much better about whatever I was going through. And I've gone through, you know, my fair share of hardships, but never anything like this traumatic. And for that reason, I felt like it would be very ingenuine of me to not address this to you guys, and I didn't think that was fair for me to do, not even for myself, because continuing on filming and pretending everything is so happy and great, while this is, you know, my reality is just not, it's not real, and I don't want to be like that to you guys. I don't want to pretend I'm happy when I'm really struggling. So I never thought it would be fake of me to put on a happy face in a video just to get away from my temporary problems. But when there's something like this that's not a temporary problem, I felt like that would be very wrong of me to do. I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, what is this that I'm talking about? that's been going on, and it's just like, it's still really hard to say out loud. Today, actually, it's Tuesday, yeah. Today marks the 2 weeks date of my dad passing away. Still really new, and I know it's kind of crazy for me to be filming a video about my dad dying at 2 weeks after it happened. And I don't know, it is kind of crazy, but I just need to like put it out there, so that if I'm, you know, not posting as much and not acting myself, then you guys, you know why. It's been really hard. It's been really hard because it was completely unexpected, and you know, that doesn't make it any less hard for people who have gone through this, that, you know, it was expected, or like an illness, you know. I don't want to downplay anyone's experiences with this, but it was just completely out of the blue. I'm not really sure how to deal with it, to be honest. 2 weeks ago, I was in my 10-hour class that I have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I went to Qdoba because we have an hour break from class. So I was at my lunch break, and I was on my computer at Qdoba just answering emails and watching YouTube videos and eating tacos, and I was laughing at the YouTube videos I was watching. I was watching Jessie Smiles, and just like, you know, typical videos are just so funny. So I was just like, remember laughing and having a good time, and my class resumes at 1:30. So I was just sitting at my booth, and I remember it was like 1:28, and I was like, I kept asking myself why I haven't left yet, because I usually leave at like 1:25. My class is pretty close to Qdoba, so it wasn't like it was gonna take me that long, but for some reason I just hadn't left yet, and I was just packing up my computer, and I had I looked at my phone, and I had a text from my mom and a missed call from my mom, and I just thought she was gonna be asking me something about like my taxes or something, because we were just talking about that like 10 minutes before. Saw her text, and it said call me immediately, and I just knew that that wasn't something that she would ever really say to me unless it was something awful. And I don't know why, I just knew, I just had a feeling as I was calling her, my heart was just beating so fast, and I remember I just couldn't even breathe, and I hadn't even talked to her yet. But I just knew something was wrong with my dad, and I don't know why, because he was completely fine, but I just had this bad feeling. She answered my phone call and was just like screaming and told me that my dad was dead. I just like couldn't believe what she was saying to me, and as a kid, like, that's your worst fear, is to hear that your parents have died. You never want to ever get that phone call, and that's something that I never ever thought I would ever get. I just remember being in complete shock, and I didn't know how to comprehend it, and I just was alone and I couldn't breathe, so I just immediately walked home, and I was in complete shock. I was just felt like I was about to throw up instantly, and I made it almost to my apartment before just like bawling for the first time, because for that whole like almost 10-minute walk home, I just couldn't really wrap my head around what I was hearing. So I got back to my apartment, and I immediately just threw up because I was so just upset and in shock. Flew home immediately, obviously, and it's been 2 weeks, and it just does not feel real at all. It just feels like he's on vacation or on a business trip at our Florida home, at our cabin. He's always doing something. He's always traveling. He's never sitting down, and just doesn't like to sit and waste his day. You know, he's always getting something done for us and for himself, and going skiing, and it's just really hard to wrap my head around. Okay, sorry, my camera just died, so I'm not even sure what I was talking about, but probably good, because I was like in the middle of crying. But anyway, what I'm struggling right now is I'm just kind of in the disbelief mindset right now, and I just don't feel like it's real. Like, I feel like he's gonna walk in the door, or I'm gonna hear him working in the garage or downstairs, and last night was Monday and we'd always watch The Voice together. I got him hooked on it season 1, and we just always watched every single episode together, and even if we weren't together, we would Snapchat about it or text about it. Last night I was home and I watched it, and he wasn't here. It's just the hardest thing is that his absence is so drowning. It's so deafening. His presence was just so immense, and his absence is just daunting, and not hearing him, just knowing I'm not going to be able to ever hear his laugh again that everyone loves so much, and his iconic low radio voice. He was just the happiest, goofiest person ever, and just would always put a smile on your face. Like, he's just so funny, and I'd always laugh at his puns and his jokes and his songs that he'd make about me and my sister, and you know, my mom would roll her eyes and stuff, but we all loved it so much. He just did so much for all of us that it's just so empty without him. Like I said, doesn't feel real to me. So this is all really hard to process right now, and I'm sure I'm just like such a mess. Such a mess right now, but I just don't really know how to communicate this, because I just never ever thought it would. I never thought I'd have to deal with this ever, or ever be making this kind of video. Something that you'll never ever think can happen to you. Like, I know it'll all happen eventually. We're not all gonna be here physically forever, but it's something that you're just never prepared for, and especially when you're so young. I'm only 22, and I'm trying to live in the now and take it day by day, but I just can't help it. I just can't help but picture my life, the future without him, and everything that he's gonna miss. I'll be okay. I'm trying to be happy and positive, but I'll get a text from someone asking how I'm doing, and then I'm honest, and then I just start bawling at my response, because it's really hard to like type it out and write it out, because it makes it so real. I'll be okay, but then talking about it like I am right now just makes it feel so real, and it is real. But it's hard to not think about the milestones in my life that he won't be a part of now. My graduation from college, not being able to walk me down the aisle on my wedding day, and not being able to, see my grandkids, which we always talked about how he was just gonna be the best grandpa ever. He was just the absolute best dad ever growing up, and I could never dream of a better dad to have, which makes it that much harder that we had such a close relationship. He truly supported me through everything at all that I wanted to do in life. He was so on board with it. He would bring me to every practice. He'd be at every game. Even when I was home, like for summer breaks or winter breaks, I wouldn't even have to leave, because he would just be like, oh, I went to Trader Joe's for you, I went to Whole Foods for you, and I made you this breakfast. And when I'd sell clothes on Poshmark, even, like, he'd be like, oh, I brought home all these boxes for you. And he'd be like, let me know when you've packaged them all up, and I'll go bring them over to the post office for you so you don't have to. And he would just think ahead of me. He would just think about anyone but himself first. And he died on Tuesday, and that Thursday he was going to be driving down to my college apartment, which is 7 hours each way. He was going to pack up my mirror and my keyboard, my guitar, a bunch of my things that I couldn't possibly pack all in one trip to bring home for college when I graduate. He was coming down to get all my stuff and my dog to take care of him for me for spring break. He didn't even think twice about it. Like, he just wanted to do that. And just the best examples of him supporting me through everything is when I started my YouTube channel, and he just was so excited all the time about it. And when I was in high school, I won this Be a Star, Make Your Way to the Runway contest, where my dress design that I sketched was going to be made into a real dress and sold by Bebop clothing at department stores. And I remember how excited he was for me, and I got to go to LA. I think that was one of my first times going to LA. Not my first time, but one of my first times. And I get to go out there for a week and shoot this web series and see how my garment was being turned into from a sketch to an actual dress. And he didn't hesitate to drop everything and just go with me for that entire week. And he was so excited for me. He brought me to every single business trip that I had in LA and New York City when I was too young to travel by myself. He went to every single one with me. And those are like the two cities that he hates. Like, he especially hates New York and LA, and he didn't care. He brought me anyway, and he made the best of it and had so much fun and was friends with my friends' parents. Like, Allie sent me these really sweet flowers, and Allie Evans, and she wrote a little note about how our dads met on a business trip and were riding around in her red convertible with cheetah seats, and how it was funny that our dads were together and just spending the day together in that car and going to different restaurants and stuff. And it was true, like, he made friends with like every parent that I went on a business trip with. He just supported me to the end. Not many people get to experience a parent like that or a dad like that. It's just weird knowing that I can't, you know, just send him a Snapchat. I still do, but like, I don't get a response, obviously, and just knowing I can't call him anymore or see his face just sucks. I've been watching Candy Johnson's videos to help me, and it's been really relatable. And I was just bawling at her video that she made about her dad, and she did it 3 years later. Here like I am 2 weeks later doing this, but I just had to like address this now. I couldn't, you know, there wasn't really another outlet for me to do. I don't really have a blog, so I couldn't like write this out for you guys. I've written about it a lot other places, but my time being on YouTube, I have dealt with the loss of my last living grandparent, my best friend that I grew up with, grandparent, who kind of took the place of my grandma when she passed. Was really close with her. The death of an aunt, a great aunt, two of my very close friends' moms have died since my time on YouTube, and that hasn't even been that long. I can't say that any of those have ever prepared me for the death of a parent. It's just on a whole nother level that you just can't even fathom, and I hope that none of you ever have to deal with this at such a young age. I hope all of your parents live well into their 90s. Also, with those people, like, I saw it coming, you know. I've had a lot of people in my life die from cancers, and my dad's parents have both lived into their 90s, and so I just always thought my dad would live into his 90s too, and I was really excited for that. I mean, my dad was older. I know my dad wasn't young by any means. For people my age, my dad was 69 years old, but he acted like he was 5. Like, he was just running around all the time, just so happy and goofy and like acting like a kid. Like, he had gray hair, but you know, he didn't act like he was older by any means. It's just crazy to me. I don't think I said this before, but he had a heart attack 2 days before my dad died. I had this urge to text my parents and tell them to get their health checked. I don't know why I had this, but I just kind of had a flashback to me reading an article about, I'm sure you guys all know about this, but just to reiterate, a couple years ago, Taylor Swift came out with like a Tumblr post or something about how for Christmas she asked her parents to get their health checked, and that's all she wanted. And that's when her mom found out she had cancer. And she said that could be a life-changing decision. So I was like, when is the last time my parents have gotten their health checked? It's been a really long time, I think. And you just never know. Like, they're getting up there in age, and I think we all should do that. And I remember I was like cooking while I thought about that, so I just kind of brushed it off, and I was like, oh, I'll tell them when I see them next, like whatever. And then 2 days later, you know, this happened. Obviously it wasn't something that could be changed in 2 days. I just want to stress how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. And if you want to live a long life with your loved ones and experiencing all that life has to offer, you will take care of yourself as well. And I just want all of you to go make an appointment and get your health checked. If you take anything from this video, just please take Taylor's advice, take my advice, and tell your parents to go get their health checked, because it could possibly change everything, you know? I can't even tell you how many times he would take me to the doctor just for like little things to make sure I was okay and take care of me, but he did not take care of himself. Through all of this, it's just made me even that much more driven to live this lifestyle, you know, this vegan lifestyle. And it was just very interesting from the documentaries and books that I was reading. You know, it talked about how people like eating animal products, it doesn't affect you right away. It takes so long to affect you, like long term, but when it does, it causes all these awful diseases, cancers, heart disease. People don't really associate it with eating that way because it takes so long, and by that time, you know, it's just like, well, I've been eating like this my whole life, you know what I mean? I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to do what you can to live the healthiest lifestyle that you can, to live the longest life that you can in the happiest way possible. I'm not saying that you should go vegan if you don't want to do that, but I'm saying that I would love if you were just informed about what the effects that food actually has on our bodies. The documentary Forks Over Knives is a really good one. I highly encourage you guys to watch it. It's on Netflix. It talks about heart disease and stuff and high blood pressure, and yeah, and I learned from my mom that it's really prominent in both sides of my family, and that's not something that I ever want to deal with. And being informed, like, I'm going to do what I can to prevent that and live a long life. I just want you guys to take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, because you never know what can happen, you know? It's just crazy how much your life can change overnight. I don't really know how to go on without him, to be honest. It's brought out so much love and support from people that I haven't even been that close with for the past couple of years, and the amount of support I've gotten is just unreal. My broadcasting class made a video for me which made me absolutely bawl my eyes out. It was like 2 days after this whole thing happened, and they sent me this video that they made for me in class, and they were all just individually saying that they're here for me and will be here for me when I get back. It was just one of the most genuine, sweet things I've ever had anyone do for me ever. And I haven't even known most of these people for even a couple of months. But, you know, I haven't met a lot of you guys face to face, and yet you have continued to support me and send me sweet messages, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. I read every single one, and I see every message. This goes out for people who have sent me text messages even, and direct messages. For a while I just couldn't respond to any of them because that just made me bawl so much, but it just means so much to me. And people who have reached out to me that their own parents have died, it's so crazy to think about how many people this has happened to, and you feel so alone, but yet you know it's happened to so many people. And for my dad, like, it was absolutely insane. His funeral just had people fly in from all over. He touched so many people. There were literally hundreds of people there. It was just so cool to see and meet all of his friends that he's been talking about for years, and how many people he's touched. You know, if his funeral taught me one thing and his passing taught me one thing, it's just that love is all we have in this world, and that is the true meaning of our lives, is to love one another and be the best person we can be. And my dad was that person. Every single person he met, you know, you couldn't forget him when you met him. And every single person of his friends that I've met, whether his high school friends or his friend from Germany or his friend from Arizona, you know, his friends from the radio or his friends through aviation, they all said the exact same thing about him. Just, he was the same person to everyone, you know. He didn't change his personality. He wasn't a two-faced person and acted this way with one person, acted a completely different way to another person. He was just unapologetically himself, and that's something that he's taught me. He's taught me more through his passing, through everyone talking to me about him. It's just that he was the same person as my dad as he was to everyone else, and that's how I want to live my life, and I want to touch that many people. And you know, if I were to die tomorrow, I want to know that I would have impacted people like he did. I want you guys to realize that as well, and I don't want you to have to realize that through the death of a parent or a friend or a sibling or a daughter. You know, I want you to know that it just puts everything into perspective, and I've always tried to live my life as a genuine person and impact people, but this has just made it that much more, it just made me that much more driven to do so. And I don't want to ever be a petty person, you know. Can easily fall victim to that, especially in high school, and it's just not worth it, you know. Just don't let the bad person win. Don't ever stoop down to that level. So that's what I'm gonna do, is to keep living my life through his amazing self, through his positivity, through his compassion and selflessness and goofiness. It's gonna be really hard, but I know for a fact that my dad will always be with me. I definitely know that this is not the end. You know, this physical world is definitely not the end. It's not even the beginning of our existence, and that's something that fuels me and comforts me in times like this. Spirituality, I just hope he gives me many signs that he's around all the time throughout the rest of my life, because I'm gonna need that. All right, well, this has been definitely the hardest video that I've ever had to film, and I think I've kind of burnt myself out on this right now. I just want to thank you guys again for everything, and if you take anything away from this video, take care of yourself, take care of your health, your loved one's health. Get on them if they're not taking care of themselves, you know. Spread love and positivity and be a good person. Tell your parents you love them, give them a big hug. Never take them for granted. I never did. The last time I saw my dad was when I went to Florida to film my Skype video, my Wanderlust video, and he was so excited for me. He gave me locations to go film that video, and we went to dinner and spent an amazing dinner on the water. I'm so glad I did, because we almost didn't go out that night. But he dropped us off at the airport the next day, and I gave him a big hug and told him I loved him. And that's the last time I saw my dad. Never take for granted the time you have with your parents and your family, your loved ones, your friends. You just never know. But I love you guys so much, and sorry for the mess of this video. Share it with someone who may need it, but if you guys have gone through this, please let me know in the comments below, or if you have any tips on how to deal with this. I'm in desperate need of that. But I love you guys so much. Thanks for understanding if there's a lack of videos. I'm gonna do my best to get back on track though. I do have good moments and moments that make me smile, and I'll probably film videos during those times, but it's gonna take some time. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later.